All right, God bless you. Boy, I got around to making this a little late in the day here, didn't I? The link for the programming and stuff. I apologize for that, and I'm happy to see you here. Pamela, great. Greetings, John. Everyone, praise Jesus Christ. So wonderful. Jamie, good day, John, and everyone. Oh, wonderful prayers and things to say. God bless you right back, ladies, and everyone in here. Uh, okay. We gathered together. All right, Frank and Jeannie. All right, we gathered together. Yeah, and things happen. Uh, Good things happen. Paulette, great to have you here, and everyone else. You go to a gathering and meeting with people who are really interested in God and the truth, and that's how they're living their life. Jason, all right, good to have you here. Uh, that has a profound impact on you, you know? Uh, Meeting with a bunch of people face to face always kind of wears me out, but I come back from it, not in a bad way, in a good way. That's my job, so I'm here to do it. I'm happy to help. But since we gathered together, I thought we'd, talk. Yeah, Jamie, exactly. Miss all of you, exactly. That's thank you. What a Canadian little nutshell that was. Miss you all. Yes, exactly. That's the feeling after gathering. What a that's it perfectly. Um, so it's important to discuss. I think some of this. I mean, a lot of people veer off of it, and I haven't. I would gone into it very much myself, but I help a lot of people individually behind the scenes. That's what people want to talk about. They want to take actions to be as happy as possible and to create less disharmony in their life and more harmony. Like that's what the questions are about. Uh, but it harmonious to what? Harmony is like a vibration, yeah. So what is your vibration really ultimately attempting to uh match, right? Your vibration, you try to match your vibration. So you try to, what vibration are you trying to match? Like God, right? You're trying to, hey, I'm trying to match up with you. That's the goal of our vibration. So when we're gathered with other people on the path, try to get to God, that helps our vibration. So um and let me just take that on that note. Let's just picture ourselves here at Disney World, yes, which is in Florida. You know, one of them is Land or World. Anyway, so you're playing the Truman Show. You're at Disney World. You're in a body. You get to Disney World, the parking spend. You want how much for parking? You pay for a hotel room sort of nearby. You're like, how much? This is the most expensive trip of my life. What the? And you get to, and you're in Florida. You're coming from somewhere else, so you're like, what? You walk around Florida. It's like, man, it's hot and humid. Yeah, coming from somewhere else. And at some point, you try to keep everybody together. You just try to, hey, were we trying to do this? Did we have a plan? You're trying to do that. At some point in the plan, as you go through Disney World, because the plan, is based on, the best information you could get, which is turns out to be dubious a lot of the times, right? So here you are, you're walking through Disney World, like life, right, is a metaphor for life. And so you're walking through Disney World, and the sun's beating down on you or whatever. You got your family there, you're trying to, okay, oh, you got little ones, you're trying to attend to their needs and stuff. And at some point you realize your cheeks are red, you're like overheated, you're like, what the it's so freaking hot here at Disney World in a lake of fire here. And you're like, man, I could use some fresh cold. It's Florida, right? I could use some fresh squeezed orange juice. That'd be the best, you know? But you look around in corporate Disney World and you're like, yeah, no, that's not like there probably is a stand, you know, an orange juice stand in Disney World for it's in Florida, so yeah. But is it everywhere, you know? Because orange, you know, like the orange doesn't have a bank account, so it's not paying for advertising drinks. So the Slurpee stand with ice in it and liquid and cold and, you know, whatever it is right over there that you can see. And there's another one that has the same stuff right there. You look around and you're like, everything cold is like, okay, yes, fine, I'm gonna die. Give me one of those, you know? Give me one of them Slurpee things. Then you start to look on your map like, where's the orange juice? You know, like you drink some of that Slurpee because you're like, ah, you know, that's what they have here. It's hard to find the good stuff. So you know, eventually you be like, hey, you know, you more organize your plan through Disney World. Yeah, let's park over here next time. So we walk by the orange juice place, you know. Uh the more knowledge you have, the better you can navigate Disney World and not have to settle for, you know, uh, you know, super bright red Slurpee or you're gonna die. Uh because you have more knowledge once you're in Disney World. You're like, okay, let's do this, you know, and so on. And even maybe you get yourself a guide up in there, like, "Hey, do you like, you know, fill out this what's your thing? What do you like?" You know, it's like, "Oh, I like this," you know? "Okay, well, that's over here. Come on, let's go over there." You get a guide, you know, you gotta pay extra, but you get a guide, you know? You can get where you're trying to get a whole lot easier. Navigate to the exit door. Thank you, sir. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, John. You're perfect. Master man mama talks about. Thank you, Frank. And I'm trying to do my best. It's about spiritual perfection. We still get placed in a body, you know, the perfectly chiseled Jesus. Like always, you know, you can just show up and be with me. Always fail, you know. That could be like, man, Jesus is like ripped. That dude, like, he's amazing. You know, Jesus, look at the hair. It's like, is that a guy even? What? This guy's beautiful. Uh, and then you're like stuck with me. And it's like, oh, it's funny, you know. The scripts, the world of nothingness. Yes, and so that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit today because you know, there are so few people interested in the truth. What's really now that you've been interested in the truth and found out about it, and all your money's set, and you okay, you know, wait, I visited with people, they're into the truth. That, okay, this is actually going on. Uh, I thought I would talk, you know, about how to think about where to spend your time with people, you know, and I was thinking having a gathering would be a good way for you to oh it's great to spend time with these people, you know, you can see the difference by doing it, you know, like that's my experience, you know. So keep that in mind as you know. So in your younger years, you know what I'm saying? When you're younger, you're like, give me that Slurpee, you know. You may have a relationship, uh, you know, because whatever. I'm young, you're right, you're my path, and I'll have a relationship with you. As and so let's think about that. You're in your path, right? Your spiritual path. Your now you think of your path, your life as a spiritual path. You think of that, and Bear Baba uses the metaphor of a ball of yarn, and a perfect master unravels the ball of yarn, removes all the kinks, and then it's straight. That's what the job of the perfect master is. So let me explain that for a second, okay? And that'll look at what you said, Jason, and everyone. So what it if you think about it, wait, it's a ball of yarn. Okay, so that's a line. It's actually it's all you can't see it for what it is. Here's a ball of yarn. We're inside a ball. So there's the yarn is in the ball. You get it? Like, ball of yarn. And so what you need to see is the whole path straightened out. And then it is a straight line. Oh, it's like, oh, that's a thread. Is it just a bunch of particles just out there with no cohesiveness of any kind? It's a thread. Meaning, if you look at a life, okay, there's seeming like you're making choices and stuff, right? Seems like we have to play the game like we're making choices. So let's not go too far into that. But it is a straight line. In other words, the character you're playing, you're going to make all the choices. Whoever's playing the character you're playing, the choices will all be made the same every time. And so that's kind of a incredible thing to think about when you think about it. That we're kind of programmed to, you know, do this line, and there's no way out of that. And the way out of it is this, okay? Is taking the ball of yarn, straightening it, i.e., I said what I just said, and you can see that everyone's placed into a character. All the characters are in line to the exit door. Navigate to the exit door. Everyone is navigating to the exit door through the different characters. It's impossible not to be doing that. Some of them seem completely stagnant to us and where we are, but it's really they're way further back in the line. And so that looks to us like stagnation from way up here. In the line to the exit door, in the line to the exit door. Yeah. And so it doesn't mean that, you know, oh, I have to be this character and that character and every single one on the exit door. No, there are many lines and they all go to the exit door. You know what I'm saying? There are many lines and they go to the exit door. Some of them go to the exit door. Some of them just go to a place before another character and so on and so on. Like, picture individuals in line to an exit door, but it's really many individuals in line. Yes, to an exit door with many crisscrossing. There are many ways that these forms can be used to make a line. You see what I'm saying? To the exit door. The way out of uh, that situation of continuing to have to play another line in here is to accept and see that that is happening. And you're not your character. You see what I'm saying? You're the one who's in the character trying to make the best of the situation at that moment and going forward. So then the ball of yarn is straightened out. You could you could see it. Oh, okay, that's what happened. And so we've talked about this before. You begin to review your life now in a body, and you go, oh, I don't want to make. I see where the reasons I made that choice. It was because I was making choices based on the information I have. But now I have other information. I have the truth. So from now on, I can make way better choices. And ultimately, the path to the exit door is making the choices based on the spiritual principles. So you wouldn't you wouldn't make wrong choices if you knew it this, because you're like, hey, I see the exit door over there. I'm almost here. I'm not gonna go over there. You're not gonna do it. You see? Uh so let's say you went to Disney, back to the Disney World metaphor. Now let's say you went to Disney World every day. You don't go anywhere else. You're never going to go anywhere else but Disney World. Ever. You're never going anywhere else but Disney World. You know where the orange juice is, am I right? You know where the orange juice is. And you know where the Slurpee is. You know where every single thing is. You know where it is. And do you really even care anymore? You know, you got other things on your mind like where's the exit door? You know, but you know all that information uh, there. But eventually, you know, once you see it for what it is, so you've done everything 1 jillion times, or even if you don't remember doing it, you see, oh my God, you know, you eat, you're hungry again. You see the emptiness and the vapidness of everything ultimately. Well, then you start seeing the exit door. You start seeing, okay, God made a game where it's like, this place is interesting and cool and all that stuff, but not really. And so, could you help me and get me back home? You know, that's the game. So, all right. So that's a metaphor I wanna stick with, and I'll get into this relationship thing. I wanna see what Jason's got going on here and what else. Exiting out of this world of nothingness, duality, or the devil's playground, here in this crystal dome is all of our goal, and to be with Christ forevermore. Yeah, to be with God forevermore in Christ, be in Christ consciousness. In other words, we all have to be back to God, and that's what that really means. Is your consciousness connected with God or not? You know, so and yeah, that's true. That's right. To live in Christ forevermore means you're not separate from God. From that's the state, the Christ state. Exactly. Could agree more, Jason. A spiritual stepping stone process. It is. And once you can see this as stepping stone process, you're like, no. Excuse me. Pardon me. Yeah, I need to get to the exit door. Yeah. Who's been to the exit door? And who can get me to the exit door, actually? I'm just gonna raise my hand and in fact, if you don't have an answer, that's fine. But if anyone ever sees anyone who made it to the exit door, you let me know. 'Cause I don't care about nothing else. Like that becomes your anthem, you know, at some point. You know, when you've been to Disney World, yes, I know where everything is. I mean, everything. I've been every character I've been on every ride so many times. I cannot get that small world song out of my head. Yes. Just I know we talked about this yesterday, but do you know anybody that made it to the exit door? You're like, no, quit asking me. You see, that's, you know, to continue with the metaphor, yes? All right, George. The illusion of free choice is an amazing miracle. Amazing miracle. And once you see it and you see God behind that, you're like, there's no way I can make any sense of that. You can see it for what it is. You have that much intelligence, but then you're like, that's yeah, what is the God? That is so perfectly stated, sir. Yikes. That is as yeah. Whew. And we got you know, when these smart people get together, that's what I'm talking about. You know, we you know, hey, we're gonna you know, the butterflies go into the cocoons in the same area. They pop out. It's like, hey, oh, hey, everybody. You know, and you're like, oh, hi. So it has an effect on uh, them, the ones that do it. And yeah, what so well said. Thank you, George. Jason, and unfortunately, too many continue to fall for the lie or illusion. Yeah, but only a few are supposed to make it every time, and that's just Gypsy. I want to go home. Yeah, but we go home by our actions. So let's go on to this. Oh, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to go into today, and then I was like, I don't want to go into that. And I was like, oh, I'll go in a little. All right, fine, fine. So anyway, again, thank you for the support, everyone. I really appreciate the support. Thank you. Donations, the support. I appreciate that. It was nice to see you all, and I'm coming back from it. It was very wearing on me, and I appreciate the donations. So thank you. I'm not sure what that is. Is that an anchor? I can't see. Okay, let's. Oh boy, man, I got a lot of info. I wrote down a lot of stuff here. I didn't realize that. So let's get into a couple short things and here. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna stick where we are with the thread of Disney World. So, uh, what I say this to a lot of people, but I said it to Gypsy the other night when we were standing next to each other. We were laughing about the script, and I say, yeah, Jesus didn't live. Like there's no, hey, I found out the truth, and then I went into the city, and everyone was like, yes, dude, thank you. I'm so stoked. Let's throw a parade. Everybody, come on out. So that part's a lie of his story. And then two, let's keep going. Let's keep going to the whole little, you know, getting nailed to a tree. I can't get nailed to a tree. I can't be killed. So the Avatar actually doesn't do the stuff in the script exactly. Okay. And if you look at it, you have to have a true sense of actual human nature through your experience to see what's wrong or right. And then you begin to see the scripts are right. There's some information on it in there. Yeah, sure, there is. God is backing the characters that God made up in the scripts. Sure. Your consciousness is here, Buddha will come to you. Your consciousness is here, Jesus will come to you. That's God coming to you, right? Your consciousness is here, the devil will come to you. That's your consciousness, that's God coming to you. God's shadow is played by God. God's shadow. You know what I'm saying? Who else can play it? But see, those are all the veils, and that's all the characters. That's all the script you're going to see behind it. And behind the whole thing is, like George was saying, like, who's making this stuff up over here? Who's making these impossible miracles continue to function all the time? And you're like, wait a second, this is all impossible. And then you begin to see God behind everything, and I think that's super well said the way George got into that and saying that. So none of that script is true. Like, I'm just saying, I have shared the truth. You get to watch it for many years, and is everyone like, "Oh, lay down some palm trees and come on over here, dude. We got some. We're gonna have a party." It's like, no. And then, okay, we do hate your guts for what you did. Okay, that's true. That part's true. But can they kill you? No, that's not true. You see, that's not true. So these scripts and stories have to be gone through as seeing the levels of power that they have, and God will back them and so on. Yeah, well, what name do we call out to you, God? You see, that's what I'm talking about. Spiritual technology is the careful, uh, scientific splitting of the spiritual atoms by experiences. Miracles that are repeatable are really the only really useful miracles. Oh, this is what you do, and this happens. Say what? Hey, you sign this piece of paper, get an EIN, no more taxes. Say what? That's a miracle. That is, how is that not a miracle? What? Come on. And so on. You see what I'm saying? You go down, you start seeing this, oh, we're trapped in this way. Well, God loves a game. Like it's like a Dungeons and Dragons game. You're like, hey, is that thing to unlock the next level around here somewhere? It's is anyone else on this level looking for this thing? You know? Who can you hear me up there? Is anyone what are you doing level 4? Anybody? Who's up? Is anyone up there? What the? Hi. All right. Oh, that's a down arrow. DD. I got it now. My bad. It's an upside down dome, but sharpened. uh, Jason, achieving Christ consciousness to be with and one with God forevermore. That's it. And only a few are supposed to make it. That's right. That's it. That's what's going on. So once you see that that's what's going on, then you begin to form relationships based on that information. Uh, and we have all different kind of relationships. So we like, oh, hey, how you doing? I see you, at the drum circle on Sunday. Good to see you again. All right. See you next week, maybe. All right. See you. Thanks for checking out my food. You are great. Hope you get your feathers and wings. And on through your day. Yeah. As some, you don't really have a choice about who you're interacting with. I got a job. I got to work with them. I need a drink. I'm going in there to buy the drink. You have to interact with somebody to buy the drink. And, a lot of this is if you had God level control, you could set it up, So you got to go. I know you're going to be thirsty here, and I created you, so I knew you're going to get thirsty. There you go. You would know what's coming. You would see all that going on. Uh, Anyway, so you begin to see back to the bowling yard and seeing the string of your life as seeing that you're playing a character and trying to bring you out of that. Now, Mary says it in this way: be in the world but not of it. Right? I know I'm playing a character. I have to be here to play a character. I'm not saying I'm not going to play the character of Christ. I'm going to do it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's also not. I'm not only a character. You see the saying? Like, I have a consciousness that isn't a character. It's, going to leave this character situation scene here, even momentarily. I don't care if it was 3 hours when I met with God. I left, and when I was over there, it was for an infinite amount of time, and that's what's going to happen in between the reset. If you make it to then, there's going to be an infinite amount of time when God goes snap here. Here, it's just going to go snap, and my character is going to start again. But in that snapping of fingers time period will be this 1,000 years or this amount of time that it doesn't make any sort of sense because you're over there in infinite land with God because there isn't time. So it's like 1,000 years. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's okay. But really, it isn't 1,000 years because what do you say? Super many time loops went by? Because this is the only place of time. The other places, they don't have time. They have different amounts of time, right? It's going faster, like over there in the ether, like things are happening at different rates of speed. But this rate of speed here doesn't change here, right? So you go to a place, you leave here, oh, at a different rate of speed over there. So it seems like an infinite amount of time. There's no time over there, you see? But the ether where the devil is and stuff, that ether is tied to this. That underlies this. But God passed all the unseen realm that is the unseen realm before God. That has time and stuff of a different rate of speed. That's like, they get into that as superheroes, like the Flash just running around. Pew! We can't see them, they're around us. Can't see them, they're moving at a different rate of speed. But God is past that level of speed. God is timeless, past time. That stuff is only happening inside here. So, those powers are in here. Uh, so, you need to see what's going on in here, and then you can get out of here. Accept it for what it is, and then it becomes powerless over you. In the world, but not of it. Okay, I accept for what it is. But I'm not I'm not the character, okay. Yeah, but okay, so I say you're not the character, but now what do we do? I get a lot of that from people. It comes up in relationships, but let me talk about it generally, then I'll move on to relationships. right? Generally, it's like, "What are you, the time loop ends in 8 years? Wait a second, what do I do?" You know, like, "Wait, what?" You know, that's what happens, and over time, you take in the truth, and you begin to decide, "No, what am I gonna do?" You start to what? Look, you know, going to the drum circle for me, obviously, is all the fairies there, and they remember the previous time loops and so on. They don't seem concerned about it. They know the end is coming, and it's like, "Fine, whatever," you know? They don't doesn't so what? They do it's not they've been to Disney World so many times, they're like, "Yeah, you check in the gate and you leave the gate, and then you seem to leave, and then you right back in." What? That I've been to the gate. You go, and then you don't go nowhere. You go right here. It's like, "Oh, new day." They know that. It's nothing happens, you see? It's just like, "Oh, it's a different day at the park. Okay, wear my bell bottoms. Here we go." Uh, I believe that few is about 7,000. Yeah, there's no way that more than a dozen people are getting out of this dome every lifetime. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Look at my time I've been doing this and what people have done. I don't see no sense. Again, the script alluding to a very small amount of people, but it's, again, it's so few. Are they playing the game? Yeah, okay, some were playing the game, whatever. Do they actually have a chance of making does their character, who is unchanging, right? Their character is not gonna change. It does never change. It doesn't make it to the exit door. You see what I'm saying? That character doesn't change, and it doesn't make it to the exit door. You gotta change it to a different character, one that makes it to the exit door. So you have to leave your character behind. You played it so many times, right? "Oh, I remember all my lifetimes. I'm very comfortable with my spot." Okay, okay. You're doesn't make it no matter how many times you play it, the thread is always the same, and you never make it to the exit door. So you have to switch characters to make it to the exit door. You have to. And one of the underlying prerequisites of a character that can make it to the exit door is memory wipe. Can't remember the time loop. Cannot. If you remember the time loop, it's not a character that can make it to the exit door. Your string doesn't go there. Period. You must change characters. Must. You see? Uh I want to go into this too. Uh Now, why did I write this out at the beginning? It's so I came up with some man, Gabriel was just like, move your hand today. Uh okay. Man, some things I gotta say. I don't sometimes I don't want to say everything I gotta say. I really don't want to sometimes. Okay. Let me just say this. If I'm not here, you're not here. You're not here. No, nothing's here. Here is not here if I'm not here. If there's no shepherd, there's no flock. And the five perfect masters hold the whole little thing, the whole little play acting thing together for a certain amount of time until the shepherd walks on the stage. But I'm here. I'm here. And then once I'm here, but if I were not to be here for a day, this place would not be here. You see, it's like Mayor Mama said, there's no shadow unless the light is here. There's no shadow. You see, say light makes a shadow, but if there's no light, there's no shadow. That's it. They have to, you know, see that the game would be pointless without me. And so God would not make a pointless game. Now, and I don't think I made myself all the way fully clear about how fair God is. They're fairies. Okay. It's so fair, characters never change. ever, 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 you could just change your reaction to the situation and be like, I don't want to play that character anymore. Thank you very much. And then you could stop playing your character, but your character will go on forever. Someone else will inhabit that character. But at some point in one of the loops, you go, okay, thanks on that one. I'm good. I need to move along. You see, that's what gets you away from doing it. You have to do that. You cannot get stuck in your own loop, right? A loop is a ball of yarn. You can't get stuck in I'm this ball of yarn. Yes, okay, all right. So let's continue. Uh, so just to be clear on that point, that's what I mean by I'm never bored. I just pop in here. Boop. So does the whole game. Not just me. Everyone else on that day. Not just me. I'm not the only immaculately conceived. The whole place is an egg. Where did the egg come from? The whole place is immaculately conceived. Not just some one guy. The whole place, like pop. That's I'm not saying it's me. I'm saying it's you too. Some of y'all out there. I'm not saying I am going to achieve something you are not. No, we're all going to achieve, like Jason was saying, consciousness with God. Okay. Uh, so, uh, so I am not here in that split second, that in between time when you're with God, but I also get to meet with God here and then re-enter the body. They don't get to do that. They don't get to meet with God. You see what I'm saying? They don't get what's different about the avatar and everyone else. I get to meet with God and they get put back in the body. God consciousness is, hey, I had a meeting with God. You're conscious of your meeting with God. And by the way, I think I'm still connected over there. Holy moly. That's what it means. You met with God literally and you remember it, and that's an experience you had, and then you come back in the body. Yeah, God conscious. I'm conscious I met with God. I did it. I can't I uh, you're conscious of it. You return with the information. Also, you return with the knowledge of the meeting. They don't get to do that. You see, they don't get to meet with God. No, no, no. Stay in the dome. You had your day. You could bend your knee. Just stay in there until you play a better character, right? Until you follow orders. Whose orders? Well, if there's only one shepherd for the flock, whose orders you think you better be following? Doy. If you're not connected with God, that's what you need to be. I don't say be connected with me. I'm saying be connected with God. But if you're not, and I'm not going to answer every question like do this, do that. I'm like, here's the principle. Would you go over that line over there now that you know that? You're like, it's what? Yeah, come on back over here. You're not going to get anything over there except for, poke in the eye. Come on over here. You're like, okay, what? I give you the information so that you can make the choices on your own, on your own. You see? That's what's going on. All right. I'm late. Mike's here. Late. I'm late, but great. You are great, homie. Greetings, St. John, J. Baba. Love it. Dee Dee. Is it bad karma to give someone I used to love the death prayer? What a great question. And totally what I'm getting at today, actually. I'm glad you brought up that question because it was about relationships. So I know I heard this is, there's some principles at play here because you have your pilgrimage experience and you have to adjust your life because you have to, because God made it so your character has to make an adjustment. Your life starts changing. It has to. And you're like, okay. Uh, my first marriage ended, not from on my side, but from her side. And then a lot of negative stuff got talked about me and so on over many years. And I'll just say I have prayed for her death way many years ago, not anytime recently or anything like that. Nope. Well, much younger. And I was watching my two young children by myself, and she was off having a great time. I didn't see her for a year with some other guys and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just saying what, yes, I was pretty exhausted back then. And, yeah, I totally did. You know, my life would improve a great deal, and I would hear a lot less from everyone in town if you were not doing what you were doing, and maybe help with the children. What do you think? How about them apples? So yeah, totally. But she's dead as a doornail. Just say it. Just say, yeah, totally pray for her death as she's dead as a doornail. So yeah. It seems to, I don't know. Just saying. How am I not with God? I didn't realize I was before, but I always am. And so, those prayers have an effect. So no, I didn't say no. I didn't say no. And plus, is it a bad thing? Is praying for someone's death a bad thing? I'm praying for your judgment today from God, which would get you out of the dome if you've done the right thing. So, I'm letting you off the hook of everything you've ever done, to continue if your debits and credits are right. What? My death prayer for someone is they're out of the dome if they played their character right. That's a blessing. How is that not a if you haven't been over to the other side, you don't know that's where you win. This is a problem area over here. But if you go over to the other side and you didn't get oh, sorry, your numbers are wrong. You'll be boarding again, sir or madam or whatever body you'll be wearing. Off you go. See you later. A ball of light in the sky. You might need to reverse that. I didn't say to reverse no death prayers. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But anyone causing us a problem, uh, for our character, that God gives us a character, so we must think we can play the character. And in that character has important roles which we're not going to give up because we have spiritual principles. Let's say we have a child, we're going to watch over them. Not going to be like, oh, I'm with God now, so no, no. They get even, the structure gets more hard and firmly in place. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. I'm being careful, but wow, you're even more careful. Yes, you're sticking to whatever your job is now, whatever relationships you have. You're like, okay, are these all lined up right? So, this is what we want to do. So, so I do hear a lot from men and women. We relate to each other. We're in relationships. I see them start and so on. Right? I see babies appear and so on. Yes. Uh, So life is meant to be lived. Yes. Uh, you know, I haven't seen nothing. I've just debunked the New Testament pretty heavily. Uh, but I don't see anywhere in the New Testament it's like it says not to have sex. I don't see that. Or Jesus like don't have that type of sex. I don't see any of that. I'll see that. I'll see any of that. But you're gonna find out, after you eat a meal, you're gonna be hungry again. How many meals do you need to eat before you realize you're hungry again? Okay, some. Uh, but then after a while, food. lost its power over you. I have to have food. Sometimes it's nice to have great tasting food, but sometimes I take a Slurpee if I'm gonna die. So make better plans and do as best you can. But then if you're over here in relationships, you take those same principles over to relationship. You take your spiritual principles over to relationships, realize you're in a, oh man, I only have a certain amount of time, you know? What do I want to spend my time on? Do I want to walk for orange juice or I gotta have a Slurpee, you know? So you gotta think about that. Uh he dumped me on the side of the road. Yeah. Things happen in relationships, and sometimes things are okay, and sometimes they're not. They are. You make decisions. This is the way men and women make decisions generally, who come to me and ask about about relationships. Some people don't ask and they're fine. You know what I'm saying? They don't ask one single word and everything's fine in their relationship, like where recently baby popped out of. Like, okay, y'all are so great, it's ridiculous. Uh, but many other people are, you know, I'm here now in my consciousness and my partner, my situation. They're not, you know. Well, no one's going to be in the same spot for sure all the time. That's not possible. So, are you going to be patient? Can you see them making this leap to the truth, or can you see them not making it? You know, they're not going to make it. And by the way, you do need a spiritual death. Yes, you need to get to the truth. You do need to leave this world, see the other side, see God in some form. That's death. Come back. Yeah, you need to. You need to. So the death prayer is not a bad thing. It isn't. Just because death isn't a bad thing. So it is actually the greatest thing. Of course, they say death is horrible. Stay away from death. It's like, yeah, what? If everything you say is a lie, then there's no problem with death. Problem is, that you're gonna cut short your life for some reason. No, you got to play your character out. You can't like snip your yard. Hey, I won. It's like, hey, but no, you still gotta reach the other side of your yard and continue down to the exit door. Snipping the yard is like, yes. It's like, no, you just fell through the floor. You didn't even make it to the door. That's not no problem. We'll put you in a new character. Yeah. But death's not the problem. It's just gonna get judged right now. Judgment Day for me is right here, whoop, ball of light across the sky. Yeah, okay. So let's see. Pray for his exit from the shadow. Good, my celibacy is over. Having fun. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Uh, like let's talk about drugs. Okay. I mean, taking acid might be cool once, 100 times, not cool. You're gonna go over to the dark side because what happens, your consciousness devolves, yeah? So, uh, you know, ultimately, if sex is a vehicle for your, happiness, you know, it's not gonna function properly for that, but it you need food to eat. It's like, don't come in here and say, "Oh, hey, don't play that part of the game." No, that's not it, but men and women have different plumbing, so they have different sexual situations. Generally, let's just talk about women come to me and say they have what's called hypergamy, right? And they're always wondering, could I get a better mate? Could I have a better mate than the one I have now? That's what they're always wondering when they come to me. Should I have a better mate? Which comes out of a concern that the mate that they have now can't make it down the spiritual path where they need to go. It's sort of a recognizing that. Yeah, it's recognizing that. Oh, okay. So are they going to make it? Yes or no? Which, you know, patience is required in that situation to see if they'll do it. These are my principles. These are my boundaries. And if you won't do it, well, then you're dragging an anchor on the bottom, you know, and you're cutting all the cables to the data transmission. I'm not getting any data from God now. You just dragging your anchor across the bottom of the ocean is like click. I hear from God less. You know what I'm saying? We need to hear from God more. So we have to apply that with our limited time that we have. We have to apply that. Now, there's a responsibility, of course, that we have to children and so on, and uh, we have to weigh all that. So women are just they initiate 90% of divorces, and they break up every relationship pretty much. Almost every relationship is broken up by women because they're always looking for the better mate. That's nature, right? The does are always looking for the best buck. They don't care, oh hey, you're buying enough over there. No, they're always looking for the best one. That's normal and natural. Whereas the buck is always looking to have the most does. So when guys come to me, they always, you know, hey, is it wrong to have a harem? I'm like, yeah, but doesn't the harem take up a whole bunch of time? You know what I mean? Like being the buck that has all the does, that's all you're doing. You know, are you moving forward spiritually when you're doing that? Uh, you know, not super much. You see? So both our roles are kind of have to be seen for what they are and be stepped outside of enough so that they don't have power over us. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that don't have a meal. Like, I'm not saying don't have sex. And what? I'm not saying don't have that. But it's especially important for women to do it with the right partner. It is. That's just by their nature. So you wouldn't want to do it willy nilly. Having fun would not be fun if you just had a bunch of sexual partners as a woman. It's not fun at all. That's not fun. It's fun instead of just drinking a Slurpee because you're hot. It's fun to get the greatest orange juice from where did where does Jamie get orange juice? Turkey or something like that. Like this is the greatest orange juice in the history of orange juice. I'm drinking it right now. Whoop. You see what I'm saying? That is a woman's nature to do that. So you want to be very careful about that. And but also, you know, you're not always going to be in the same spot. It's impossible that you're in the same spot with your partner. If you're very close, total miracle. What? You know? And God can create miracles. God could send you a better partner. Yes, you have to make space to do that. Like one feng shui thing that I did many years ago, I had a woman enter my life was to, uh, I went into the bathroom, right? And like in the bathroom cabinet, I emptied half of it. And like, oh, that's where she's going to put her stuff. And up here in the cabinet, oh, that's where she's going to put her stuff up there. And in the closet. That's where she's gonna put her stuff. I'll leave room in the closet. You know, that's where, you know, she's gonna put her coffee. You know, this is all the things. Yeah, you may have space for it. And you create that individual popping out of the ether you through your consciousness and your actions, and there they are. I've done that successfully before, and but point being, if your focus of your mind and your actions is on making it to the exit door and making it to God, then you're going to be careful about who you spend your time with. That's my point. Generally, you see, and then specifically also who you're having sex with, of course, right? If you are, uh, and there's nothing wrong with it, but you want to make there isn't inherently. It's like saying there's something wrong with eating. It's like well, not when I'm hungry, there's not you see what I'm saying? But doesn't have a power over you, like, no, it's not like, "I live for food, food is my god," you know? "Food is gonna get me out of the dome. Yes, food," you know? Same with sexism, drugs aren't gonna get you out of the dome, just accept them for what they are, and the difficulty of, your particular uh, physical body and situation that you're in, and accept them limitations and stuff and work within them. Make sure you don't get off of your path to get to the exit door out of here, you see? But we're put in a body, and that's like saying, "Oh, I have, you know, sexual desires, and so and I want a partner to work that out with." Okay, well, who's sending you those desires, or who put you in the body? God. Well, that's God's fault. So, God, you're doing this, okay, but that's not, remember, in the world, but not of it, okay? You're in the body, in it, in the world, in a body, so you're not that body, so it doesn't have that much power over you. So it starts to lose that power. Yeah, you're gonna eat food because you have to eat food, but you don't care so much about, oh my God, that's like as a child, look at how cool the colors are of the candy. Yes, more candy. Candy is look at the colors, it's so sweet. You know, your health gets affected, and you're like, okay, candy is not that great. As same in relationships, yeah. Uh, you're very discerning about what will get you to the exit door and what won't. And okay, uh, you know, sex is a stress release or whatever. Like, say with, oh, let's smoke some weed after a hard day's work or whatever. But it's not given any more power than it has. You see what I'm saying? It's not a, I reached nirvana. I mean, uh, they're definitely like any part of life, right? I could make the greatest food ever. I could get, hey, I'm a Michelin star, whatever. Or, I have the greatest sex, whatever. These are my powers, or whatever. Yeah, okay. The fairies have all the powers. You know what I'm saying? They have them. You're gonna have the best sex ever. You're gonna have the best food ever. You're gonna have the best blah 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 blah. But eventually, you're gonna have it, and it's not gonna have any power over you. You see, and so you want to make sure you're gonna weave in the, the spiritual aspect of getting to God into your relationship. Because listen. Who are you gonna have sex with? Like, there's really one or two areas to draw from at this point, yeah? The hive, one of them, or, someone on the spiritual path. Who else is there, Who else? So, you're always gonna be in a different spot consciousness-wise. Yeah, you are. So that's just the nature of the situation. Opposites attract. Let's see. I'm gonna look at what people are saying. I'm getting, uh to where I'm kind of wrapping this up, and hopefully I want to get into your individual thoughts on this. Okay. Um, have to do everything, Dee Dee, and I'm not doing no more. I understand, Dee Dee. I don't want to play the game no more. What do I do? Just sit here on the beach and wait for 8.5 years? Yeah, no. That's why I say you have to live life. You're given life to do, and, should I just play the scorpion? No, the scorpion has to change its ways. Has to. Any character anyone's playing has to change its ways from the character, move outside the character, and see the direction they're taking is the best, direction that they can see from where they are to get to God. If I was any more patient, I would be a rock. So that's what I was saying. That life is meant to be lived, and if you're incompatible to that level, well, something's gotta give. Or our choices really are our choices. So, some change has to occur. Uh, Sometimes they have to occur. They have to. Um, and you ask for God's help to solve the unsolvable, of course. Only God can do that. Gypsy can come over here and I will go where Gypsy is. I don't think so. No. Weird you mentioned drugs. I just mentioned drugs, food, as sex, and things that, are desires that can be supplicated, but then again, you know, you're hungry again, you're thirsty again. That's the nature of our situation. And so that's the pattern. It just doesn't have that much power over you. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. They must let go of the ego. That is not something that happens until the seventh plane. Your ego is the cohesive center of your character. So you're ready to give up your character. That's the ego, the character. Yeah. I just don't care anymore about nothing. Yes, you do. Of course, you care about God. You're in here caring. You're a very caring woman. No believer. You could wait 40 some years for someone to change. That's the thing. Women think they pick a man to change. They ain't gonna change. Men aren't. What a whole other. Everyone. No one's. Change is almost impossible. We're on a thread. You see, there is no such thing as change. There's the character you're playing, and can the character you see, is there change in that character's future? Do you see the potential for that? Women can see that. Is there? If you don't see it, how many years? Like, how long does it take? Because I think that, because we're a yearly cycle, it's like you plant a tomato. It's like, no, the tomato plant died. Well, just wait next year. No, it's a withered plant. It's not gonna grow tomatoes. It's like, well, wait another year. Yeah, but a withered tomato plant's not gonna grow tomatoes. It's like, well, wait another year. Yeah. And then eventually it turns into a rock, compressed dirt. In other words, it becomes organic matter. That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. Okay. No one, no, he is not doing that. God doesn't care. Just see, they're nothing but distractions. Distractions to what? You see, let's say you distraction from unraveling your situation and getting outside of it and giving it no power. Not playing the character anymore. Just not playing character. Not playing a character. I'm gonna be this character over here. I'm not gonna be your character for you anymore. And you make changes to make that happen. Like the scorpion is no longer a scorpion. That's the way it happens. If I and no, they're nothing but distraction. Well, relationships do progress us spiritually quickly, more quickly. Our foibles, our issues come up immediately in relationships. So they are a way to get fast progress. So a sexual relationship is a relationship. You know what I mean? Any relationship's a relationship. But, you know, they'll move us one way or the other, backwards or forwards, towards the exit door or away from it. So you got to make this, you got to use your discernment to say, okay, I'm going to spend time here and doing it. So it's not a distraction necessarily. It's just, does it get you to the exit door? Yes or no? And if it doesn't, that's fine. And then it's given no more than that. If I was any focus, I would be the Terminator. You are the Terminator. Your prayers kick some ass. Yeah, you're the Terminator. You already are. So get your prayers in order, girl, and terminate some. Get your business together. You are the Terminator. Yes, Didi. I don't want a partner. Yes, you do. You want your partner to be God. See, we're separate from God. We need to be reunited with God. That's our actual partner, you know? So down here, can we have some man, woman, partner, or whatever? Yes, totally. Does that help get us to now becoming one with God? You see, that's our partner. And do we have an earthly partner to help us get there? That's who we should be, thinking about spending time with. Whether it's a friend or, would totally not a sexual thing, but also sex. Is it inherently negative? It's like, that's like the Christians at Siesta Key, the ones that are screaming, into their mic with powered amp and stuff like that. Don't go over there. They're evil. It's like they're just playing drums, actually. They're not, you're anti music. What? They're the devil. It's like, dude, that's a drum circle. What you would do over there? Yeah, you could go to the devil, but dude, I could definitely go over the devil over here because you're making me so pissed off I could punch you right in the face. So I don't want to go to violence over here, you know what I mean? But you're making me want to. You know what I'm saying? So you have to come outside the characters and go to spiritual principles and see, does my next action get me to the, you know, exit door? Yes or no? Yes or no? Jason, they use the distractions all the time to keep up us from finding achieving Christ consciousness. Great. And making it through the exit or the Christendom. Correct. 100% correct. That's what I'm trying to get at. You have to live life. We are here in a body. You have to do something with your day. You're not going to, it's not like just sit on the beach and do nothing. No, 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 no. No. Sorry. That's taking non action. That's not, those aren't actions to get you out of here. You see? Yes, there's an interlude of taking it all in, and you go to non-action. You're like, oh my God, what the wait, time loop? Wait, all this stuff that hits you, and you have a time period of inaction where you're like, I can't, you're processing it. You're like, and Mayor Baba was you know, on a bed, not eating or drinking or doing anything or moving for 9 months after he found out the truth. He's like, nothing. Anybody in there? You're not dead. No, not dead. Okay. Can't speak. Can't speak. Okay. So then you're like, what am I gonna do? And then you have to you're connected to God, and you're like, okay, what do I do, God? So yeah, 100%. 100%. So, no, but we have to do all these things. Like, God didn't make a life and put us in this human form and be like, hey, don't do anything out there. No, do everything. Like, you know, become like a child. It's like, well, the skate park is cooler in the early part of the day. So let's go to the skate park and we'll go to the beach later. You know what I mean? Okay. You don't go to the skate park in the middle of the day because it's too hot. So you just make choices on what makes sense for your day based on what you want to spend your time on, you know, based on where your consciousness is at that time, and you do the best that you can. And you forgive and forget, right? If you can forgive, then you don't have to forget, right? Because you memory wipe. Forgive and forget. I was going to read something from Mayor Baba about forgive and forget, but let's see what we got going on here. Uh, I'm done. Yay, bye, J Mama. Gypsy distractions. Yeah, keeping you out of God's grace. It can. You love your character. That's what I'm saying. I know you love your character, and many of the ladies love your character. You're not leaving your character anytime soon, and you're not leaving the dome soon because you love your character. That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to point that out to everyone, not just you. Thank you for explaining that with clarity. Everyone understands. I'm 6'4" with red hair, and everything matches, of course. I love my character. I am God's favorite. That is your Anthem. Anybody that spent any time with you has heard your anthem, sir. That's what I'm saying. You're your character, and that's why you're coming back to play your character. That's it. Okay. I'm glad we're all set on that. Jason, I believe that loving yourself is the first step in the process because if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love anyone else, including God? Very true. Very true. But really, what is yourself? Who are you? You're not the character, so you're just playing this character. You do it the best you can, and how can you be pissed at yourself if just you got stuck in this situation by God? And how can you really be not okay with yourself? God loves you enough to put you near the exit door, so that's good. Some of us are their favorite characters ever. Thank you, God. I am in such a best character. I'm never leaving my character. Oh, thanks, God. Thanks. Oh. You must always have love in your heart and definitely not hate. That's true. Hey, how can you hate? It's really there's a 2-year-old, 2-year-old. What am I talking about? I don't know. Whoever's walking it. Say there's a 1-year-old. They're walking around. They get a diaper full. They're crying their head off. They're not on words yet. Hey, my diaper's full. Hey, give me a hand over here. Just don't want to bother you. I see you're busy over there. Ah! Are you mad at the baby for crying because their diaper's full? No. Does it hear your ears like crazy and your mind is wobbling in the process and the vibration is, shattering everything that you think is reality? Yes, yes, that's happening, of course. That's their vibration. And you will change that diaper. But are you actually mad at them? No, no, no. Even though you're about to lose your mind from the screams that you cannot believe the voice God gave them and the ability to just yeah, yeah, I'll change it right away. Uh, you know, uh, we're having that situation from the vibration in here. Say, well, we're not angry at the individual for having a full diaper. It's like, for those not spiritually advanced to want to get out of their character, are you mad at them? What? Are you mad at the child? No. Spiritual children stay in their characters. They love their characters, right? That's fine. There has to be a Disney World. There have to be these characters being played here, or there is no spiritual progress. So God creates them with the desire to be their character is inherent in that creation. The identification, your identity matches your character. You see, you know, I'm on stage, I'm Dolly Parton, and I sing country songs and I had a breast reduction. You're a character and that character is so good. Come on down to Dolly World. What's up, everybody? Some characters are just so loved by the character, they're not changing their character. Not anytime soon, that's for sure. God knew they would play that character for infinity lifetimes, and so some characters move quicker through, some souls are in one character for less time and some for more time. Yeah, you see it. Somebody's not ready to play Dolly yet. Or Polly. I want a cracker. uh you must watch out for that ego. Yeah, be humble, always humble. Be searching for the door with God. I don't know about humble, but you know what I'm saying. But I don't. People don't, I think, view me as humble. I'm just try to be rigid about my boundaries, or if I have a boundary, I'll cross it. To give you a hand because I'm a shepherd. Like, of course, I'm gonna go into the sticker bushes and say, "Hey, you know what? Are you intentionally in the sticker bushes? Because you could actually just step back out of the sticker bushes." So I do that. I go over the line and mention that. They're like, man, these are my sticker bushes. Would you get off of my, you're messing up my sticker bushes over here. Get out of here. What? I'm like, oh, very good. Okay. Just see, being celibate makes it where you have your power back. Nah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see that. Uh, I'm a soul in a body, having an experience on a planet, having a good time. Yeah, that's life in a body. Mike's name. You've been the same character every time. Yeah, I have been the same character every time. That's a fact. I'm the only one, though, that is the same character every time. The only one. There is no other one. That's the one. Why? There's one. But even I say I'm not this character. I'm never not this character, but I'm not this character. You see? I don't play another character on stage, not ever. But I am not this character. If I'm able to say it, certainly you can say it to yourself, please. Okay. Because I'm not disagreeing with you, Chips. I do play this character every time, but I still say it's not me. Because when you get to the other side, you're like, hey, and God's like, well, I created you. You're that character. Yes, but I'm also connected to you, which is infinite. You see, it's our connection to God, which pulls us out of the character. We're no longer shackled to that. We're shackled to God. You see, infinite. It was not a character in any of this. Created all the characters and all the stuff, but is not, you know, limited to the characterization of being a character. Nah. But yeah, that's a fact, Gypsy. And I hope you understand that he's saying it as a fact of knowledge of that many lifetimes, as a fact. So he is. So in this case, what's a proper thing to do? Someone should what for? Should I do it? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Listen, I see no one's there, but I'm gonna pray that Gypsy gets his feathers or wings. Yes, yes, that's right. That's the thing that must happen on that side in order to not play the character. So I'll pray you don't play the character. You follow me? Which is also what? A death prayer. Yeah. Like Dee Dee said, hey, can I pray for you? Yeah. I just do it. Hey, may you get your feathers and wings. You know, you know, from the hawk of God that flies in and eats you and throws up all the feathers and wings. You get me? All right. So uh you know, man, I got a lot written down there, and we're kind of. I think we should probably. The point is that inherently, some relationship, any way you choose to spend your time, can move you forward to the exit door or away from the exit door. How you spend your time, who you interact with, what you do. That's what determines whether you're leaving or not. Your actions, what you're doing. That's what determines it. You see? So what you do matters. Don't abstain from doing everything. Okay, maybe you abstain from drinking liquor. I don't see the point of that. I've had it like negatively affects me. For some people who maybe don't have what like in the Chinese medical mindset, I have what is it? What is it called? Uh, uh, Yin Chi. Like I have in a five element system, like wood. Like gray hair, hair less hair on top over time, uh, bad knees, and kidney problems. Say it's a type. It's from my character. has this type. It's easily figured out and so on. So that's this type of character. Oh, okay. Uh, so I'm just saying, don't see the character for what it is, understand your limitations, and know when you're getting up on your limitations and hey, God help me over my limitations. But also don't abstain from life. Sex is a part of life, eating is a part of life, swimming, part of life, walking, a part of life. Hey, don't walk anywhere. Something could happen out there. What? No, you know what I mean? Like, hey, a lot of accidents happen in bathtubs, right? "Oh, I don't want to take a shower." It's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna take a shower. God will watch over you as you do this. So you're like, if God is sending you a sexual desire or something like that, say, "Hey, God, send me the right sexual partner. Send me the right one. Thank you. Okay, you're the best." Yeah. Uh, you know, heal the problem I have, or give me something that ameliorates the symptoms. Like the reason I smoke weed, not as a drug for getting to God, but staying here and not be nauseous so bad that I can do my work for you. That's all. So, not hey, I'm getting to God now. No, if only, if only we're that easy. And so many other easy ways that aren't easy ways. But that's my point. Like, don't take you sign up with Jesus Christ and they say, hey, in the Bible, blah, 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 you ain't supposed to have sex. Man, that's all script BS. The script ain't even right. Okay? That's the Old Testament anyway. That ain't even the New Testament when Jesus come around. So it didn't even tell me about sex. What do you shut up over there? I'm trying to get to the exit door. Stop with your mind control games over there. Shut up, Shut up. So you take your spiritual principles and try and live a happy, accept the nature of the body or in your nature and so on. And you want to spend your time as happily as you can. And that means, oh, I don't want to spend it with horrible people. That ain't going to be happy, Rather spend it with no one and you know. So we begin to make and put in place those borders around us, and then explain to people in our life, well, it's okay if you're in my life, but you can't be doing blah blah blah. Okay, sorry, you're great, but just I'm in my life and doing something different. So it's something. It's not you, and that's all. Okay, because I gotta get to the exit door and stuff. So hey, nothing against you. Okay, love you. See you in the rear view. All right. So I'm just trying to remove the weight of that whole, Christian ethos, which the characters out there that we have to watch on, you know, in mass media, on YouTube, and all this stuff are saying this is what Christians are. You like just shut up already. You got no proof of what you're doing. I don't see you near the exit door. None of that stuff. You're trying to tell me about what's right and wrong. No, what's right and wrong comes from your heart. Love in your heart, like Jason was saying. And it's like, okay, is what I'm going to do separate from my love, my love for, is that going to separate me from God? Is that going to separate me from my duties that God gave me here? Okay, then I don't want to be doing that. You see, whatever it is, that's like a boundary. So, and that is a changing boundary when you get more knowledge. Okay, now I have this knowledge. There's a time loop. There are all these things that you've received the knowledge of. So that means your boundaries are necessarily going to change. They're going to change. You're not a rock. You're living this life. If you're a rock and you're not living this life, you're not getting out of here. You're not. Okay. All right, everyone. That was not easy area to cover for me. And because who am I supposed to be having a relationship with, right? Someone off the path? Well, who's off the path? Who? Everyone's on the path of God. Should be having a, you know what I mean? Like the bugs they wanted to affect me, right? With their mindset and have control over me and stuff like that. But now, and they're hive mind, and I'm not having their hive mind. My mind is with God. If I were to interact with them and have sex with them, you see the saying, I would penetrate the hive mind. And they actually sort of they don't want that. You see? They want to play their characters. They don't want that. They don't want change. They don't want it. You see it in here today. They don't want change, period, period. No, no, no. So now I'm like, what? Oh, you're looking great. Hey, maybe we should get together or something. It's like, they're like, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, like, yeah, you got different orders now, don't ya? It's funny to see it. It's funny to see it play out. So, you get to the other end, it's like, well, you may want to have sex, but can you even do it over there in the hive? It's like, yeah, not so easy. Or it's like, yeah, with someone you're totally not interested, or like that would be anchor, obvious anchors. And then so then someone on the path, well, who's ahead of me? Someone ahead of me, maybe? Okay. Someone behind me that I'm helping? How is that right? But how is it wrong? I mean, you're not supposed to take advantage of someone in that situation. You're not. But then who are you supposed to have sex with? Someone not on the spiritual path at all? Not? This is hard. This is an area of difficulty. That, getting the right partner and having everything hunky dory, uh, got to witness that coming together in India. Fantastic, miracles happen and everything can be wonderful. And babies can pop out of the ether and boom, yay, new soul in a dome. Yes. So those things can happen, but I wanted to bring up all the principles and items at play here so you can see what the tension is and hopefully step back from your character enough to see outside of yourself what's going on and begin to make proper decisions based on that kind of looking from the outside and accountability that you bring to your character's situation. You bring it to your character's situation. You see, accountability. Okay, the character wants me to do this. What is actually right to do? Okay. This isn't easy stuff at all. This is incredibly difficult. Oh, I want my heart to be in the game and knowledge and weigh them and get it right. Incredibly difficult. This is difficult. This is there are only a few near the exit door doing this work. I'm only talking to a very few people. You see, it's not easy. It's not easy at all, or else everybody be piled up at the exit door, which they're not. Not at all. Okay, I'm gonna wind this up. If you have anything else on your mind, please put it out and we'll get to it. But I really wanted to sort of dissect, I think, what part of the process you're going through after having a gathering, you're looking at your life and so on. I wanted to dissect it, turn it into principles that you can apply to your life situation, and then, get your vibe in harmony with where you want to go to the exit door, just like uh, uh, Alan said properly. Okay. Gypsy, I'll pray for you, brother. Yeah, God bless you too, brother. Martin, thanks, Sean. Our last conversation on the beach about this really helped. And I've been having many conversations about this and with many different people because this is part of the spiritual process. Oh man, I'm about to make a leap forward. And you're like, wait, a leap forward? That means I'm actually kind of leapt forward here. Hey, I see you dragging ass back there. What are we going to do? You gotta work on that. You have to. It's someone you love, so you want to try and pull along, and then you gotta see what you're gonna do. You're busted out of your character, and with all these things there, you see them for what it is. And you making a choice. So I'm glad that helped, and I wanted to put that in here because I see it's a very common theme going out there for a lot of people. Okay. Frank, thank you, John. Great. God bless you, John, and all here. Wonderful. Excellent message. Praise Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you. Very well said. Thank you, Frank and Gina. What Frank said, yes. Gypsy, come pick me up and let's go to the drum circles. Yes, yeah. That's what I'm saying, yo. Where's your Uber, man? Man, your Uber. You see us saying, I like you, you know, but maybe the frog doesn't want to drive you over to the other side of the river. You follow me? Come on. If you want to be a frog, man, you know, because frogs get kissed and they turn into princess. So, you know, that don't happen to North Scorpion. Uh, but I'll think about that, Gypsy. Thank you for the offer. All right. Uh, but I'll probably take my bike because of traffic. I've been taking my bicycle because there's no place to park. But, so it's not you. It's just there's nowhere to park, and I don't want to do that whole freaking thing. So I take my bike. Uh, Okay, everyone, thanks for sticking with me. You're going through a process now after you gather together. Consciousness is shifting. You're making changes in your reality because it's actions, your course of choices and actions that gets you out of the dough. You're taking that very seriously and you're doing the things that make it happen. Okay. Good job. It's not do this, do that. You have to discern what you're going to do, and you're doing that. Congratulations. Ask for God's help, and I'm going to ask that God helps you as you do that. All right. Uh, have a wonderful week. Until next time we gather. Pauletta, thank you. Good message. Thank you. Thank you. These things are not easy, you know. We leave relationships behind, loved ones, people come and they go. Maybe our partner dies, you know what I'm saying? What like my first partner did that I had children with. That's what I'm saying. You can move on. You can do that. It's I'm not saying you have to either. For you, what gets you to the exit tour? What, would make it so you could be happy on the way to the exit tour? Or relationship, okay. Eh, that's why you're living life. You're here to live life, people. Yeah, that's why you're here. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? They're not gonna separate you from God, as Mary Bob said, a relationship sort of makes it like a crucible. The things come up and you gotta deal with them and you progress. So there's nothing wrong with that. All right. All right, everyone. God bless you, and God help keep up your spiritual progress. These things are not easy, and we're here supporting each other in our forward progress. Thank you for doing that. My prayers are with you, and until next week, God bless you, each and every one of you.